I'm Purpagoose, and there are countless amounts of games on the internet. In an effort to find some hidden gems, I went digging in the muck called the Steam store for some free Frog game demos. Here are some of my favorite Frog game demos. Ribby the game was probably my favorite demo I played for this video. The music, art, and overall vibe is just so good. We start off being interviewed by the game's main character, Ribby. We tell her how we present. Purple geese are pretty androgynous, I'd say. So that's what I picked here. We tell her our favorite food, and we also get an option to change the entire color scheme of the game. Of course, we had to go purple. But I actually think green looked pretty cool. We can also turn off the filter overlays, but I kind of liked it better with it on. We tell her about somebody close to us, in this case, Bibbo. And the game starts. We get a little cinematic cutscene with cool music and cool visuals, explaining that Ribby is lost in a forest and she doesn't know where she is. As the game starts, we're in the classic top-down RPG style. There's a helpful sign right at the beginning, which was definitely appreciated. Exploring the menu a little bit, I found that there's a friend tab, which I'm actually listed in. Thought that was kind of cool. Another helpful sign tells us we should try interacting with any and everything, so we go over and admire a tree. A highlight of the game is definitely the endearing dialogue style. Everything you interact with has something silly to say, and our main character has something equally as silly to say back. We're told to be on the lookout for collectible photos, and immediately find one in a chest. Looking for our new picture in our menu shows former President Barack Obama. Okay. We meet a helpful creature in the woods who promises to help us find our way out. Shortly after, I'm drawn to a suspicious tree all on its own, and sure enough, there's a picture of former President Barack Obama. We solve a rock-pushing puzzle, definitely on the first try, and decipher our friend's riddle, solving the forest maze, and continuing our journey. We open a chest and find a photo of former President Barack Obama, and finally make our way out of the forest, at which point we meet Bone Boy, who has some pretty funny dialogue, but I will let you play the game and discover it for yourself. He tells us he's going to teach us a freaking lesson. And the demo ends there. I really enjoyed this demo. I noticed it's been a couple years since there's been any news, but the Steam store page says the release date is 2025. I hope that's true. I'd love to see this game out in the world. 8 out of 10. The next game was Time on Frog Island Prologue. The game starts with a cinematic. We see a sailor and their potted plant watch as an asteroid impacts a small island. The sailor decides to go check it out, but when he lands on the island, he's not sure what to do, and he's feeling creeped out, so eventually he just takes a nap, and when he awakens, his plant is not with him. He sees some footprints in the sand, and that's when the game starts for us. Our mission, to find our potted plant. And right away I notice there's not really any frogs here, but maybe they'll pop up at some point. Just messing around with the game mechanics, I built myself a fire and fell asleep. When I woke up, the footprints were gone, so I just decided to run in that general direction, meeting local wildlife, discovering ancient rock paintings, doing some jump puzzles, picking up rocks and throwing them off cliffs, and discovering a shiny blue, mysterious object. I took the thing back to my camp and couldn't really figure out what to do with it, so I ran around for a little while and found where the footsteps probably led in the first place. We see this axolotl and our precious potted plant. The axolotl starts telling us about the comet that landed on the island after he summoned it when praying for the island to be re-greenified. Of course we say, you can't have the plant, your whole comet mumbo jumbo didn't cause my plant to land here. Axolotl explains it's a desert island, and he dearly needs the potted plant to return life to the island. He says he'll trade the potted plant for the comet fragment, which we happen to already have, but when we give it to him, he tells us to go somewhere else and to bring him something else. So we go off exploring, we find a piece of junk, leave it on the ground, meet some local wildlife, and try to make friends, and eventually find the shrine we were looking for. Turns out we actually need that piece of junk we left behind before. Putting it in the slot opens up a door, but our precious gem is stolen by a crow. We chase down the crow, get our gem, but not before trying to dish out a little bit of payback. We bring the gem to the axolotl. He's a happy little guy. He gives us our plant back, but it starts raining. That's okay, we're just happy to have our plant. We load it on the boat, but we don't want to go sailing in these conditions. Best to just sleep for the night. In the morning, the axolotl is thrilled. The rain brought back the lush green plant life. We pluck some sort of helicopter flower, take it for a little spin, and decide we should just be on our way. We set sail, and in so doing, we end the demo. We never saw any frogs, but this game actually showed a little bit of promise. I thought it was pretty fun. I would definitely be interested in playing a little bit more. 7 out of 10. Croakoloco. This is an idle game. We buy our frogs in booster packs, our first being the Secret Swamp booster pack. And you get a chance for one of a handful of different frogs, all of which will have different stats and abilities when they grow up. You can eat golden flies to earn money and gain XP to grow up your frog from a baby to an adult. And you can see this frog's ability highlighted in purple at the top. And so pretty soon you're going to have a whole bunch of frogs, and you can right-click on the screen to spawn flies, which your frogs will eat passively. And you can sell your frogs for money, buy more frogs, and eventually you'll want to build out your frog team. For me, I started with a combo where some frogs gained a lot of money for eating golden flies, other frogs caused regular flies to be spawned when you ate the golden flies, and then other frogs with just general money-related boosts. Some frogs get a sell value boost, and they're just made to be sold. They may be cute, but this is capitalism, and we're here to make money. And at a certain point, I noticed this one frog making flies, and that's kind of the dream, right? His trait is that he's 450% more likely to burp a fly. At that point, I developed a new strat. I was going to find frogs that burped flies, and frogs that had a bonus for the burped flies. Eventually, we found our last frog that's available in the demo, so it was nice to fill out our Frogopedia, and that's about the time I turned the game off for a little while, and when I came back later, we were rich, making over $13 per eaten burped fly. And with that, I was pretty satisfied, and decided to move on. The Croakoloco demo was pretty fun. I'd say I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10 for what it is. The full game has more booster packs, more terrariums, and all of that sort of thing, so if you think that's something you might enjoy, consider picking the game up. And I'm going to group the next two games together as they are both hidden object games where the point is to find the hidden frogs. There's not too much to say, but in I Commissioned Some Frogs, I really liked the art style and also the music. It took me about 4 minutes 30 seconds. I actually got pretty stuck on the last two flies. 100 Hidden Frogs is quite similar, but the artwork is in black and white, and frogs are highlighted green, which I thought looked pretty cool. I was surprised when I clicked the second frog and got an achievement, and realized I would probably be getting an achievement for every single frog, which would be at least 100 achievements. I found all 100 frogs without too much difficulty, but I'm not exactly sure how long it took. Both of these games are perfect for what they are, 10 out of 10. And that wraps up the Frog demo review. I did play one other game, Olliefrog Toad Skater. It was great, 10 out of 10. Really cool soundtrack in the same control scheme as the Tony Hawk games, except you're a cute frog. I'll leave you with some footage of me shredding. Please subscribe if you're able, and let me know what you would like to see in the next demo review video, and I'll see you then.